I hope I'm on now.
Yes, you're on, Elder, and you can share your screen. You're a co-host.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to say a few words before I share my screen. First of all, I've been very much enlightened by the enthusiasm, starting with you, Mama Esther. There's a film I used to watch. It was called No Retreat, No Surrender. And but I can't hear you. But where we have reached, we are not going backwards. I'm very happy that people are very excited about this learning. And being an adult learning style, we are going to be very patient with everyone. These things sometimes can be very difficult for us as well. And we're always learning, so no worries. Let everybody sit back and enjoy the ride. Staff notation sometimes sounds very complicated, but we also learned somehow. And I'm going to share with you the way I learned. So some things may not be very academic, but I'll show you the shortcuts and how we learned these things. I want to ask one question. I'm looking at all the participants. We are 37. If you have ever had any exposure to staff notation, just kindly raise your hand on your Zoom. If you have had any form of exposure to sulfur notation, just raise your hand. Wow, yes, I can see some people are raising their hands. Yes, I can see we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 people. Oh, wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 7 people, 8 people now online who. I'm glad to see you, Elder William Mugera. Thank you for joining. And I'm sure that we're going to enjoy this session. Before I start, I want to thank those who have been active on the WhatsApp group and also attending this workshop. I can see is there. I have seen my all of you. There's a bit of my group, the guy voting. Thank you for bad the fast, and you've been I start request you to these two them. I don't know if you can see. There is a Adventist hymnal. This hymn, there's another. These two books, to use them later in this session, do and then we shall give out some learn one-off thing. That's why we are moving away from now. Every time you see, you are learning. Screen. This seen this. And this is today. Looking at So everyone is hearing me. If
Yes,
hello?
Elder.
All right. I need it. Yeah. Like a malo. You are to Becky. Call me Becky. I want to give you the session. One of this session, you should be able how to use staff notation. You'll be able to know how to use staff notation. The second, you'll be able to know the treble and the bass clefs. These are still very new terminologies, but you learn them. You also know the pitch names, like in solfa notation, we talked about pitch. And you know that music is about pitch and rhythm. You also know the rhythm names. You will know the rhythm names as well. And I want you to know something also, the relationship between staff and solfa. But do not worry. If you feel that it is becoming too heavy, you just ask me to slow down or to stop, and then we continue digesting the concepts before we can move to new concepts. Let's leave it. Be able to read it from here. Okay. Why are we studying staff notation? I need to be able to see this thing. Why are we studying staff notation? Notation is recognized music languages. And the reason we are studying it is so that we maintain the international nature of our church. As you know that in every church that you go, when you sing in the same way, whether it's in the US, whether it's in Uganda, when you sing a song, you are singing, but we're international church, and staff notation is a national music language. Secondly, the Seventh-day Adventist hymn, which is the latest Adventist over the in one of the ways we ensure that we are harmonized all over the world, because when you open that book and you follow the rhythm and pitches that have been written there, you should go to singing in the rest of the world. I want to say use the SDA congregational worships in Uganda drawn. There are other books, Adventist hymnal, and others. Church in Songs, we draw most of us. These are songs that have been scrutinized by the music gurus at the General Conference. Aligned areas of doctrine, in the area of in all our beliefs. The Luganda songbook that we use, 192 out of the 250 songs are all from this book. So you realize that this book is very important for us. And because it is in staff notation, the only way we can remain alert is to this study is going to help us to write our songs in the same international language. I know that there are many songs that keep being added to the Seventh-day Adventist and included. I happen to be the secretary of the Central Uganda Conference Committee that was nominated to expand the Luganda songbook. Remember that this was one of our objectives, although we did not achieve it. We wanted to include some proposed songs, but this will be a discussion for another time. But we need people to write these songs in an international language so that we can be able to sing the same songs in China. We can sing the same song in Japan and all over the world. I wanted to bring out here a little about the history of staff notation. As you all know that in the previous session from heaven, over the generations, music has been evolving. And the music that we are seeing now, the innovations we are seeing now, and the structures we are seeing now have gone through several innovations. And therefore, you cannot credit one person for the things that we are seeing now. Initially, musicians used to use signs and markers from the literature I read. Call them neumes. This is a Greek. And I know that even now, people who teach, but they use signs. You can raise your hand a little. You raise it higher, it means you should sing a higher pitch, or you bring it lower, and it means. The only challenge with that over those generations was that how high or how low can you sing? And how do you ensure that a person in another generation in the same way? I can assure you that when you sing, the way we sing here in Kampala is not the same way that people sing in our villages, because you find that some of the pitches have been, some of the words have been twisted. That is why it is very important music. So that the same message, we maintain the same mood. I know some musicians, even to methods of teaching music, lifting your hand up, turn it down until you eventually get to the kind of tune that you want. If you look at the slide on the right hand side, there is an extract of what these people used to do. If you can see my cursor, are the pitches, and then the middle line are the words. So this is how they used to write, and it kept evolving. the years. On the next slide, the music kept evolving from neumes to lines and getting close to what we are using now. They started putting the pitches on lines. If you look at the left-hand side of this slide, you now started coming out as lines. And those lines are nothing else other than the music that is being written on. And then in the middle, you find the words. So as you sing the words, they correspond with the music on the lines above. And there's a who used to stay in a place called Arezzo. He was an Italian monk around 1025 AD, who is credited more. Does not mean that he did all this alone, but he advanced Western music to a level which has put it very close to where we are, and that is organizing pitches and putting them along lines. These lines are now fixed. You can pass that I would lift my hand, indicating to you that you should sing a higher pitch, but how high can I go, or how low can I go? So what Guido helped is a mechanism of ensuring that when you are singing, wow, I see someone writing on my screen. When you are singing, you are able to a pitch and the interval. So if I say do and another one says re, so do and re are distinguishable pitches which you can sing anywhere in the world. Them lines are called staffs or staves. The British call them staves and the Americans call them staffs. Now, initially there were 4 lines, which have now advanced to 5 lines, as we're going to see in the subsequent slides. And it is now possible that one can find a piece of music they have never seen before. You can sing it, you can teach it to other people, and then it can go on from there. When you look at the songs that we are singing in the hymnal, if you look inside, you will see the kind of years. And you must be wondering whether in our generation we're actually doing anything serious. If you look at one of the songs, 592 in the SDA hymnal, it was in 19. It was modified in 1972. But you find songs that were written in 1800. Yeah, it means that people of this and start writing music of this generation, the one which appeals to the situations we are in. I mean that we should throw away the other ones. They are still very spiritual and very inspiring, but it is important adding the flavor of today's experiences. Now we've come to the staff. So I've talked about the lines. So when you look at these lines, if you see the words I've written in red, in Western musical notation, a staff or stave is a set of 5 horizontal lines and 4 spaces. When you look at these, there are 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in between the lines, there are 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the combination of this, and that is 5 lines and 4 spaces. Now, please note that these lines are 5 and the spaces in between are 4. The thing you should note is that the lines are straight They do not get into the other. They are horizontal. Yeah, they are horizontal, and they are parallel, and they are equally spaced. So this is one of the key of this man called that he built of the previous musicians, and he brought us to this level where we have 5 lines and 4 spaces, and this is what we call staff. I want to ask if you are all still following me on the slide.
We are following you, Elder.
Thank you, Esther. Ruth,
Yes.
Kawoya, are you following?
Yes.
Thank you, Ruth. William, are you still online? I can't hear William.
Yes, I am,
Okay.
and I'm.
I just wanted to sample to ensure that we are aligned. So this is a foundation of what we call staff notation. Lines and 4 spaces. So on these lines is where we write our music. So I'll comfortably move to the next slide, but before I move, remember that this is Western music notation. There are many forms of cultural music and other forms of music that are not written like this. And for you to understand, be very difficult to put on these lines. You have to first listen to what people are singing or what people are performing, and then you try to put those pitches on these lines. That's when you will see that some styles of music are very difficult to put on these lines. But for us who are using music for spiritual nourishment, these lines are usually very appropriate for us. Now start looking at what they call clefs. We have been looking at lines, but these lines are grouped, and their grouping is called clefs. Now, I now come to what we call the treble clef. The treble clef, none other than this that you are seeing on the left-hand side. It is a line, it is a grouping of 5 lines and 4 spaces. And in addition to it, it has this sign, that sign is called a treble clef sign. And because it is centered around a line called the G line, known. Therefore, it derives its name from the position where it is. Let me say this again. The treble clef is a grouping of lines and spaces which are used music, and you know music is pitch and rhythm. So on these lines we write music. The reason why it is called treble clef is because it has this sign. This sign, the way it is written, is a musical sign. It is called clef sign, and also known as is because it is on this, which is known as the G line. If you have if you are not following, I'll request you to just raise your hand, but I hope that that is clear. I will now go to the next clef. It is called the bass clef. The treble clef, this one is called the G clef. This one, sorry, this is called the bass clef or the F clef. Now the bass clef is also a grouping of 5 lines. You see, these are 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. And sign is the one that gives this clef. It's called the bass clef sign. Now, the bass clef sign is strategically put along this line, and this line is between 2 dots. So these are things you should just understand and put in your mind. This is how the music was organized by our predecessors. So this line is called the F line, which we are going to learn why it is there and why this one is on the G line. What is the G line? And then this one is line, and what is F and what is G? What are all these things about that we're going to learn? Now, this is called the bass clef, and the bass clef is also known as the F clef. And the reason it is known as the bass clef is because it is centered around that line, which is known as the F line. Now, F is a pitch, and so is G. This G line is a pitch. Pitches along these lines. Remember that these lines, because music goes up and down, when you go down, get a lower pitch. For instance, this pitch is G, the next one is higher, the next one, the one on the line is higher, the one on the space is higher, the one on the line is higher, and so on and so forth, and then also going downwards. So the bass clef, it has the same lines, but this line is called F and the pitch. So this is F. The space above the line is another pitch. The line above the space is another pitch. The space above the line is another pitch. The line above this space is another pitch, and it continues up as long as your voice can sing. As long as your voice can sing a pitch, it goes up and up until you cannot go any further. Now, all these help us when we are writing music. Range. You have heard people saying, the key is too high. It means that it is above a certain range. I don't want to go into keys yet now, but the reason because our voice weighted by God that we sing in particular pitches. And that is why these signs are being given to us so that we remain within those pitches. Are we all aligned? I want to move to the next concept. There are some voices. Are we all?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything that is not clear?
We are here.
Yeah, we are okay.
Is there anything that is not yet clear? I can say it again. Allow me to go. And in the whole of this arrangement is they do not meet and they're equally spaced. On those lines, the lines are grouped in two clefs. Is what we call the treble clef sign. This is the treble clef sign, and it centers around the G line or the G pitch. So this line is a pitch, is a sound actually. That is sounds as G. And then we also have the bass clef. The bass clef sits along this line, and this line is a pitch, which we call F. And you can see it, you cannot miss it. Dots, the line which passes in between them is called the F line or the F pitch. Okay, I'm now moving to the combined. So previously I was showing them separately. Now I'm bringing them together. So on these two clefs, you can see the treble clef upper side and the bass clef is on the lower side. Now music moves along all these spaces, goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down. Now, remember our lesson on solfa? Solfa does the same. It comes from do, re, mi, then comes do, ti, la, sol, re, do. So, now that this is a language. Staff notation is a language that is actually related to notation. I'll see how they are related. I hear someone speaking. Is that a comment or is it a question? Okay, let me proceed. So this treble clef and the bass clef are the two combined where we write music. So music is written on the lines and the spaces, okay? So when you see a line here, this line and the space, so this is a pitch, the line space is a pitch, a line is a pitch, the space is a pitch, the line is a pitch, the space is a pitch, and so on and so forth. When you sing a song and one of the pitches is up, you must look for where to place it. And if the other one is down, you have to look for where to place it. So this now becomes the tool or the when we are writing music. So on these lines and on these spaces is where we write music. I want to move on. So now we have combined the treble clef and the bass clef. Do not forget these lines. Remember this line on the treble clef, it is called the G line or the G pitch. And then there's this line between these two dots. It is known as the F line, okay? And that F line, yeah, the bass clef is centered. Okay, if we are all aligned, I move to the next slide. When we are singing our music, music can go up, can go down. You've had people singing and their voice goes so high. Another one goes so low. There's some of our basses who sing very deep voices. And then some of our alto ladies who sing alto voices. It means that there are some voices or there are some pitches which will. So you may sing and you go up, you go up, you go to the top line. Now, when you go above, it means you can still sing. So what these people who designed these things, what they did, the same lines above these staff lines. And these lines which go above and below the clefs are known as ledger lines. What is their use? They help you to maintain continuity of music. How is that done? there is this top line. The line is F, and G is the space above. So you can continue singing all the way up above the treble clef, and what helps you is the ledger lines. If you look at our hymn books, you put lines above the treble clef. You also see those lines below the treble clef. I think you can see them here. So they help you to write music below the treble clef. And similarly, on the bass clef, especially the tenors, when they sing above these lines, their voices start going up. And when they go up, you can steer them down. And what helps you to write short lines, which we call the ledger lines. And even below, for the basses who sing and go deep, very deep, there are some voices that go below the lowest line in the bass clef. You see this going down, going down, going down. Somebody can go further. You still use the ledger lines. And the ledger lines are the short lines that help you to where the pitch is going. I hope this is also very clear. If there is somebody who has not understood, just kindly say now, because I'm now moving to the next slide. Silence means that we are aligned, we are okay. All right, I see Mr. Mus very closely, thank you, and all the others. I'm now moving to the next slide. Okay, I'm now about the notes. Now, again, these are concepts that you must put in your head because they have been defined by our you need to put them in notes. As you remember, music is pitch and rhythm. Pitch is the up and down. Okay, like you see these blue lines. When you sing do, re, mi, fa, you are going up. Do, ti, la, so, fa, you're coming down. Okay, so, and then the rhythm is horizontal. As you sing, we do not sing going backwards. We always sing forward. So what is a note? A note is something that will document your pitch down, but your pitch going forward. Okay, we will not always goes. So a note, that thing that we use and we put it on the staff line, and it helps us to define the pitch, and the pitch is the up and down or the frequency, and it also helps us to determine the speed or the rhythm, the speed at which, yeah, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You can hear that my voice is going up, but it is also the song what, okay? At what speed? Do, re, mi, I can say do, re, mi, fa, la, ti. So the value of the note will give speed also, which we call. Now, there are certain that were defined for us, and these are named. These names never forget. The names are B, C, D, E, F, and G. There are 7. Okay, let me say them again. They are A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay, These are names, these notes that is on the lines. They help us to do that we want. If you look on your left, that looks like a there's a relationship between our piano and what we sing. But if you look at the lines above, showing us from D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now, regarding the clef, I said that the treble clef is centered around the line called, if somebody remembers, can somebody say? What is Mr. Musani, I've seen you. Hello? Can't hear. Somebody there, mute their microphone. Okay. Me the line on which sits. Hello?
Sits on G.
G line.
Yes, thank you so much. It sits on the G line. When you look at this sign here, this is the treble clef sign. It sits on the second from the bottom. And that second line, if you follow it closely, it will take you to this note, which we call, okay? You can see that if, so the space is F, and
It's on pitch on the G line.
hello, is that?
Yes, Elder.
Yes. Are you making the
I
comment?
think it was something else.
Okay.
No.
Okay. The notes, these are very important for you to understand. The notes are the ones that we think. In the notes, there are two values. There is the value of the sound and the value of rhythm. Okay? So when you see C here, move along. A bit more time on this because I want us to understand the notes and their names. Remember, do not invent your own name up to G, okay? A, B, C, F, and G. Those are the names of those lines, whether they are on or whether they are on the base. Okay, I want to move to the next slide. We are going to put more emphasis on the treble clef now. Okay, the treble clef, the lowest line starts on pitch, which is known as E. I'm trying to point there, this one here. Okay, this line is called E. The space above and the line above that space is called G. Remember that G corresponds with the treble sign. Okay, so that is G. So E, A, C, D, E, F, G, A, U, all the way. Okay, so that music If you come from, this is G, F, E, I think this should be D, then there's C, then there's B, there's A, then you continue down, okay? Now, here they gave us some way of remembering these lines. So the lines are E, D, F, and the spaces are A, C, and E. Remember, the spaces are 4. That's why the, and then the lines are 5. That's why these are 1, 3. Okay, the quick way to learn all things our friends have, invented for us. So if you say, every good boy deserves, okay, every boy deserves. Now these letters is the pitch line. So every is E, good is G, boy E, D, and Fanta is F. Okay, so these are the lines, the line notes, the treble clef. Okay, on the tape clef that appears at the top. Then the spaces are F. This one is easy to remember. It's called face. So F is there, A is there, C is there, and E. When you align these, they all appear. Okay, so it's just E, F, C, F. Treble, and its notes, you have to and to learn them. They are. Okay, I want to move to the bass clef. Now, the bass clef, similar way, also has names. Okay, lowest line G. Okay, so it is the lower line is G, space is A. The next line is B. Remember, these are pitch climbing. Then the next space is C. The next line is D. The next space is E. And the next line is F. Do you remember about this line? The line where center line F, it is there. So A, and then the next space, and the next line is A. The next space here will be B. Remember the ledger. Then the next C. They are together. Again, the clef is G. The space above. So this is pitch. This is pitch A, pitch B. This is pitch C. It keeps going. And pitch D. The line E. And then the line is pitch F. Remember this line. Okay, this is the one which defines the bass clef. And then the next space is G, pitch G. The next pitch A, rather the next line. And then going to be a line. That space will be B. Okay. Remember these same letters. The ledger line above, there will be a okay, and then D, blunt ledger lines. Now to spaces, remember the lines are 5 and the spaces are 4. E, D, F, and A. Our friends helped us to memorize. You can say, good boys deserve Fanta always. Good is D is for F is for A. Okay, so it helps us to memorize things. And then the spaces as you grass. That cows which don't eat grass. So all is for A, cows is for C, eat is for E, yeah, and grass is for G, that's space. Yes, clef, this clef, and that, like when you put it together, this is now the music. You put the treble clef and the bass clef together, and then you are able to see how everything is flowing. These things, five, four. Okay. On the staff lines, we call the treble clef is defined by this sign. Okay, it sits on 5 lines and 4 spaces. Because it is known as G. Okay, and is a pitch. This is a pitch. The space is a pitch. The line is a pitch. The space is a pitch, and so on. When you go to the bass clef, it also has 5 lines and 4 spaces. It has this sign. This sign is called the bass clef sign. And this bass clef sign has 2 dots. And between the 2 dots, there is a line going through. That line is called the F line or the F. And that is the name of this clef. Okay, so when you put them together, that is how the music is supposed to be written. It is written on those 2 clefs. And the clefs, you have the liberty to write music above them and below them. And what aids you to do that are these called the danger lines. They can go above the bass clef and below the bass clef. Okay. We went to notes. I told you that there are 7 notes, and these you have to cram and the notes to write and the sound, the speed at which you are. We look at the treble clef note and how you can memorize them. Every good boy deserves Fanta and face. And we also looked at the bass clef notes. These ones say, good boys deserve Fanta always, and those are the lines. And then it says, all cows eat grass. These are all intended to help us memorize, these notes. And then they all look when you put them together. Now, you realize that in the books that we use, treble clef, we usually put 2 voices, soprano and alto. And on the lower clef, which is the bass clef, we usually put tenor and bass voices. Let me say that again. This is how it is usually having 2 lines. I mean, something closing here, we shall explain to you those signs. And in the middle of these 2 clefs is where we write the line. Yeah, because as you see, you read touch and the speed. That's why in station and even in solfa, the words are written in between these 2. If you look at these 2 clefs, they are starting now to bring out the whole landscape of music. The treble clef starts on E here, and below E there is speech. C is on LG. Okay, and then on this other side, you can see the space E. No, sorry, the top line is the space is G, line which defines this clef is F. So that's why this is called the F clef. So this is where we write music. On the top, we write. Mr. Katamba is raising his hand. Mr. Katamba, yes.
To interrupt you a bit,
Yes.
but I think you passed that level. I was trying to mention about the 5 lines and the notes, because I see the notes are 7 and the line are 5. But when you are reading them on the lines, they are not in order. The bass clef starts with the F, which is called the F clef. But again, other treble clef, it is seated on E.
Okay, thank you so much for your question, Mr. You can put down your hand.
Yes.
I see Technopop 2 is also raising his hand. Kindly make your comment. Please make, because the session for answer and discussion. I mean questions and discussion. I just want to ensure that we are aligned. I just want to ensure that we are moving. Your sound is not very clear. But, okay. Make it short, please. Make it short, please. Sorry, we cannot hear you. Make it short, please.
My question is, why is Tena on the bass clef yet? It appears to be
No, your voice is not coming out well, but let me answer 2 questions from Mr. Katamba Godfrey. Mr. Katamba, our predecessors wrote these notes is the way we take them. Did not start with the lowest line, starting with A. That you just have to cram. Just ba. Katamba, I don't know how you named, but that is your name. So the way they named these lines is the way we take them. That the second from I didn't get your name, but is why okay, why is Tena on the left? Okay, in our as people, pitches have been tuned by God already. God has told us that those people who sing bass, they are on the lower side. Okay, so usually you find the voices for bass lower side, but as the pitches, you start getting into the voices that we now. Okay, it does not mean that a bass person cannot sing from. Find somebody who has very long range, can go all the way to there. Okay. because we have to arrange them according to the pitch, the growth or the decline. That is why you find that tenor is usually next to the bass voices, okay? Similarly, soprano and alto. The altos are, their voices are usually on the lower side because their pitch is usually lower. They sing the lower notes or on the higher octaves. Sorry, I've used a word which I'm yet to explain. And then the sopranos are usually the ones who go up, up, and up because their voices have been endowed by God to sing up. So that is why these voices are arranged like this. You start from down, you go up. It does not mean a bass person cannot sing soprano up here. Endowed that person. I've seen how some people, some of their soprano, they sing these very high notes because God has endowed them. But for ensuring singing in an orderly way, and everybody is reading from the same page, okay? This is that everybody should read on the page. When we write the music, they will all be this way, okay? The voices go up and down, and they are moving forward. And that is how music is sung. I want to move forward. I hope I've done my best to explain that. I see Mr. Ronald Webb Kayole is raising his hand.
Yes, please, may I? Mine is an order in the house. We have an arrangement that we always let give his thing, then thereafter we have questions and answer at that time. So at the house, we let you finish the explanations, and after that we can go into the discussion where we have questions and answers. So it is a request to the member of the house.
Okay, thank you so much, Ayole. I request you to put down your hand, then I can proceed. Thank you so much. I'm now moving forward. I think mainly the problem was me because I wanted people to move. And so far, I think we are aligned. Now, reached what they call the middle C. When you look at the treble clef here and bass clef put together, in the middle here, I told you is words, but there is an imaginary C note. Okay, this note and this note are the same. This note below the treble clef and the note above the bass clef is called the middle C. Okay, and for those who have ever looked at the piano, or the note there which is called the middle C. We shall talk about the piano later. So these things are connected. The people who are singing here are not disconnected to sing up here. When these ones are singing, these ones are also singing. Okay, so we are all moving up and down this way, forward. Okay, this is how we go to another line. We down and forward, up and down, and music is about singing up and down and forward. Okay, and the up and down is the pitch, the way your voice goes up, comes down. The forward is the rhythm. Okay, moving one beat at a time. Are you putting in quarter beats and so on? We shall talk about that later. Okay, I wanted you to understand this thing called the middle C, a very fundamental principle of music. Okay, I'm moving now to the next slide. I've already talked to you about the piano. Now you can see we are there. This is our piano, or this is our keyboard. If you look at it, and below it, is our clefs, the treble clef and the bass clef. Now, these things are related, okay? And how are they related? Starting with what we call the middle C. See this, where I'm pointing, that is what we call the middle C. Look at it, it is this ledger line that I showed you. The one below the treble clef is the same one above the bass clef. So when you're playing your keyboard, your piano, your fingers are on these keys, okay? So all these notes, the A, B, C, and are the ones on the keyboard, I can see now, okay? And also on this side, the same way. So when you're playing, your one hand is on this side and the other one is on this side. And that is how you find that the person playing the music is also aligned to people who are singing. Again, you see, the other thing I want you to note here is that this keyboard is arranged in 4 octaves. Now, what is an octave? An octave is a combination of notes starting necessarily from A up to G, but any 7 octave, okay? So let me show you what an octave is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is an octave, okay? Up to there, okay? Then from here is another octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is an octave, right? Moving forward from middle C, we have another octave. Okay, if you can see my cursor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. From C up to B is an octave. An octave from C up to B is an octave, and so on. Your octave can start from F, from here. It can start from here. It can start from here. It can start from here. I hope you are following what I'm explaining. An octave is a combination of this, and they keep repeating that fashion. And that is what you see on the keyboard. When you play this C, it is on, you can say, if this is Do, and you say Do, then this one will be Do, 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 Re, Mi, Fa. Let me start. Do, Do, Re, Mi, Sol, La, Ti, Do. So this is Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. A Do, okay? If you start from there, Do, 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 Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. Do, Re, Fa, Sol. But that is called, right? On this slide, the middle C, octaves. The octaves help you to understand music is repetitive. It is repeating, but going to higher pitches or coming to lower pitches. I'm moving on now. A. I told you that music is both pitch and rhythm. Now we're looking at the rhythm, okay? We've been looking at the up and down. Now look at forward. Because as you sing, you go forward. Now, these are the symbols that help us to go forward. The symbols you see here, I remember when Mr. Sabo was teaching, he talked about ta, te, ta, fe. If you remember well, the shape, okay? I hope some of you are starting notation are related. I've tried to lay it out, and if you see this symbol language, it is called the whole note. The which is a small circle and it is not filled. It is called a whole note, and it's value. Okay, so it is ta ta is the whole note. So far, if you look at this other side, I've arranged it in 4 bits. Okay. Ta, ta, 1, 2, 3, 4 bits. Okay. So this is known again. You should put in your head whole note in the staff language. Value is 4, and this is how side. Then the next is again round 1. It is not filled, but it has, I don't know whether they call it a hand. Okay, it has this line on top of it. This represents called a half note, has 2 bits. It is the first one. How do we sing it? It okay, so it is 1, 2. Remember the first one, 2, 3, 4. This one is 1, 2. Okay. On the sulfur side, it is this way. Bit and 2 bits. The other one was 1, 3, 4. This one is 1, 2. Okay, we are still together. We are getting into mathematics now, but it is still the simple math. X beginners. Mr. Momuza, what mathematics?
Yes, Elder.
Mathematics did you do? School.
This is, I think this is factorization.
Okay. Okay, so the next symbol give us speed or rhythm is this one. This one now is shaded. So this is a quarter note and it is only 1 bit. And this is represented. It's just okay. Let me go back up. The first one is bits. The second one, the half note is ta. And then is 1 bit, it is just ta. Now I'm on the fourth one is an 8th note. It's half beat. On the sulfur side, if you remember, it is represented just a dot. Okay. If you put them and there are 2 like here, tate, 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 tate. Okay. And then the last one I'll talk about here is the 16th note, called the quarter beat. Some this music that we sing, that kind of jumping and skipping and jumping. Tan ta tan ta tan ta tan ta kind of jumping is usually music quarter beats in somewhere in the middle. So these they have the shaded, they have 2 flags. One had 1 flag, and it's called tafatefe, 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 tafatefe. Okay, and it is represented by a comma. If you come down, it's a family. At the notes, sorry, this one is 4 bits. one is 2 beats, is 1 beat, half beat, and then there's quarter beat. I don't want to go into that. I don't want it when we are staff. This is an exercise. When you get you go and practice. Now, go quickly line the notes, okay, shaded. Now I want you to remember the shaded one. This is 1 beat. All these are 1 beat, and this one is beats. This one is 2 beats. This one is this one. This is 2 beats, and this is 4 beats. Okay. Let me say that again. Is 1 beat, 1 beat, 1 beat. This is 2 beats, 2 beats, 1 beat, 2 beats, and 4 beats. You can go on the next line and on the next. This is one of the things we are going to practice. So this one goes this way. So it ta 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 ta. Okay, let me do that again. Starting from here. This is ta 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 ta. Okay, so puts us into the mood of on top of singing the pitch, you also start singing the rhythm. About to finish. Hang in there. I'm about to finish. Then we discussion. What you see on what we call it, this helps us. Yeah. In music, you must always have this where you start, helps you to keep in the sound up to the end. And that key in F and also in solfa. Okay. Well, in your books, in the Uganda hymn books, they say do is. When it says do is C, telling you that this C is this. Is the C they are talking about. Now, going back to the notes, I want you to come down and tell me where. When you come down here, is this. Remember, this ledger line is the one we call the middle. Okay, so when they say you are going to sing a song and they say do is C, that look space that is called. Okay, so if C is your do, so you do, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And this, if do is okay, re is what? Is D, this line is F, this space, if you see D, E, F, G is the treble line, and then you go back to A, B. So that is, we relate stuff with solfa on that. Now, time. I told you to carry your books. We're going to sing the song that we sing every. And I don't know why we sing it only on the Sabbath. From whom? Oh, have you now? If you look at the songbook, I've given you a number of bit Louis Bourgeois, and there is G. So I've indicated here a song now, and in the SDA hymnal, it is 694. I've copied a picture there, and Do G. Okay, so when you come here, now remind clef, where is that G? Okay, that is none other than the line where the treble clef sign sits. Okay, so it means the first note here is a do. Okay, so this means that this is a do. Okay. Then you can say do, la, so, do, re, mi. Okay, to move us a little forward, but I know I may lose some people, but I wanted us to go back and practice this. Since you know the song, now you can start attaching these values to what, but make sure you're not confused by singing the wrong notes. Some of you are singing the wrong. You are supposed to sing the right notes, sing this music. One of the songs that I wanted you to with, and in red I have said here, place the key and sing the first in solfa. So what I want you to do is go and look for another song, which is in the Uganda songbook. The key, okay, this one is do is G. G is a line that we know, isn't it? Go on the treble clef and look for that space, okay? In our case, it is there. Unfortunately, I had already indicated in my book these line names, so this is going to be easy for you. But if you are using your G, the line is G, the space is what? Is, and this line is E, and then the space below this line is D, and it's saying D. So it is D, E, F, G, A, B, E, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then you continue upwards, okay? So that was the first song that I want you to practice. The second one is this song. This is also a common song, number 93. Tan, 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 tan. Is it follow? Two in the SDA and the do, okay? Look for the, okay? Or a space. It is a space. It was G and now it is F. Starts actually. There are some do. Next song. First note is not know how to backwards. So this song says do 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 ti do re mi re do. Okay, so you can things now. Clap. So it's a do 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 ti do re mi re do ta ta, tan, ta. Okay. This is food for you to go and chew on. My last slide is this one. In another simple song, My Maker and My King. Song number 9, songbook, and it's song number 15. See, number 15 in your SDA hymnal is do is C. Now C is very easy. Okay, C is usually middle C, isn't it? So you come here and you look for that middle C down there. So the track would be, which we call, so actually here. So how do you sing this song? It does not do, starts from another note. So if it is do, if the middle C is do, then the space above the C, if this is C, this is D, then this is E, then G. So this do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do, na, 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 na. Okay. So you must know, relate these things, then you'll be able to sing. I want you to go back and sing these songs and start to relate those that have with what you have in these books. These are the references, the music. You can go and read. Now it's time for question and discussion. Thank you so much. I hope it was fruitful for you, this class, and I'm sure that we shall go back to our groups and continue learning. So much. Over to you, Mr.
Thank you, Elder William, for that great presentation. I believe it was having some bones for those who are still very new to staff notation. When you begin seeing those with small O's with sticks on top of the sticks down, sometimes people get confused. But thank you for shedding more light, because those are some of the questions we had yesterday. Because yesterday they were saying, what about people are using staff notation books, notes of how can they go about it? Thank you for shedding that more light on that. It's time for questions. I request those who have questions to raise their hands. But as you raise your hands, there is here a question for you, Elder Kiganda, that are spaces outside the staff also called ledger spaces? Are spaces outside the staff also called ledger spaces? That is one of the questions I've received from the chat box. Those with questions, feel free to raise your hand. Yeah, Katamba Godfrey. Katamba Godfrey can unmute and ask your question. Katamba? Katamba is not yet ready to ask. Let's listen.
Are you hearing?
Now we are hearing.
Yes, I'm saying, Elder Kiganda, for this good present. Before this question, at first he wrote that the choirs can compose, which cannot be even easy to be organized in this kind of staff notation, the 5. Could it be correct that some songs that are raga style or whatever, that pose for cultural kind, that it could not be organized in this kind of notations?
Thank you, Katamba. I am sure that Uganda has noted that question and he'll answer it. Let me also receive a question from Jerry. then Alex, then you first answer that bunch of questions. Jerry.
Can be heard.
Yes.
Greetings, everyone. This is Jerry Chwanuka once again. All I would like to appreciate Elder Kiganda for the presentation and for the long history of my question. Maybe I would request whether it is possible to have organized groups like maybe groups if they can access a piano, because it's to understand staff notation if you have by your side, because it becomes practical. But just singing, maybe solfa notation I recommend solfa notation, but for staff maybe you could have in different locations and do it. I think that would be under. Now I will stop.
Yeah, I may have not got your network was breaking, but I believe the key thing was already passed across.
Yes, yes, I have picked his question is, can we encourage to get somewhere, have a keyboard or a piano, because it is, this is
Okay, question will be answered. Let me get some more 2 questions, then you can answer them at once. I'm having the question from Alex, and then the question from Miss Sani. Then after that bunch of questions is answered, then we shall receive another bunch of questions. Alex.
Thank you. We've got my question. Are we from Mr. Maybe sure. And the shop is a semi.
Alex, I propose you remove the video that you can have some good network and pick your question is very well. Alex, you cannot speak. Yeah, now we can get you well. Alex, we are not getting you well.
Sorry.
Unclear.
Yes, I'm asking that you may find a line with a symbol of sharp or a symbol of relate in solfa notation. Maybe that one is easier to understand. Enough?
Yes.
Okay, welcome.
Moderator, are you there? I still
Josiah? Josiah, let's receive your question, and then after that we shall have that batch of questions answered.
Sorry, we can't hear you. Please,
Josiah?
We can't hear you. And you,
Josiah, for sure, we can't hear anything.
we are seeing your face. Kindly turn off your, and you'll be able to speak. Better as to pick up network.
Network is giving us hard time. We can't get Josiah's network. Josiah, can you now speak? Oh, sorry. Elder Kiganda, let's receive some more 2 questions and then we shall come back to Josiah later. Katende Martin. Katende.
Hello, good evening to everyone.
Yes, good evening.
Thank you for the studies here. May God bless. Elder was teaching where he combined the tremble, the bass clef. He showed us the notes A, B, C, D up to G. And where I got confused from where that I saw some notes they had high there. Find that E has a power 2, F has a power 2, and G has a power 2 on the bass. And on the tremble, C has a power 4, D4, E4. Now I'm trying to ask what do those powers mean?
Okay. I believe Elder has heard the question and you'll be answered. Alan Philip.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, good evening.
Am I clear?
Somehow.
There's some figures that appear in the lines of
I'm not
stuff.
getting, I don't know
Like
that it's
6,
getting
8,
you.
4, 4. What do they mean?
Yes? Come again?
Is that is after the treble clef and the bass clef.
The 4, the 2, 2.
Pardon? One, because
Alan, I propose you write your question in the chat box because me, I've not got it well. Write in the question, then
I think I've got his Mr. Muhumuza, his question is the same as the one Martin.
Okay.
It's the same.
It's fine.
In some numbers there, and they want to know what do they mean. But for your comfort, those are plus. Yeah, just ignore them. They don't mean anything.
Okay, Oda, go on and answer their questions. Then I'll give you those which I have in the chat box.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muhum. Yeah. The ledger. This. I don't do some, please. To know is they are like, of course, there will be spaces. Mr. Katamba, good Are there some songs, Iggy, those in raga, that can't be organized? They will organize. The music that is sung, organized. The smallest level, even if the pitch is so, only you who is going to play it on the piano, going to sing it. You may find the pitches are going too high, too low, too high, too low, too quickly. But writing is not difficult. Once I listen to your sound, I can attach it to a you. Listen to any song on your radio and start writing down. So you'll see that it is possible to write them. You may find that the rhythms are very complicated. Yeah. Mood is, if you do not to write those songs, because in there the soprano is singing something different, the bass is possible to, but for some, and this to the compose very, but be able to read, somebody be able to read. It is good. We can organize, be able to interact. Or rather, when we get out of this COVID situation, we shall be able to interact and do the things that we should do practically. You can understand how difficult it is to teach and for people to learn via Zoom. So I am very sure that going forward, we still have more classes after this seminar, and we shall organize the flat, yes, classes we cannot lose many of the participants. Just hang in there and we shall reach you. Mr. Katende Martin and Mr. Alan Philip Ule, your question is the same. The notes that have some numbers, them they're not just a picture and convenience to learn. Thank you. Those are the questions.
Okay, Oda. I have some other questions in the chat, which were written in the chat room. One asked a question that how do you use the circle you showed us, or how do you apply it to determine the key of the song? Another question, that what is the meaning of the hash appearing in front of the treble clef? Then what do the numbers before the clef mean? I think you've talked about that. Then what does G7 stand for on the staff notation? Those are some of the questions I have so far, Elder. You can answer those as I get more.
Okay. You know, the subsequent sessions. Let me start with the last one, 7. These are code, and somebody is playing. They are giving you ability to use other instruments to play. You know, the guitar people, they play chords. So if you see G7 sound, that's a guitar. yeah, for people who are using the instruments. The question about to determine the key, I wish I can, but we don't use we the name. Let me go quickly to, okay. Let's look at this. I'm looking at the best. I hope you are all seeing. Okay. When you look, I cannot tell the key of the song. Okay. Probably, I think let me find out with answer this question, because determining the key tough side. Mr. Katamba, your microphone. Mr. Katamba. Mr. Katamba, kindly mute your microphone. I request that I do not answer that question. The key on staff's because confusion here. There are some other things that we need to do, the sharps, the flats, in order to understand how to determine the key. When I brought the key, when you read the key, the song book, remember we read the new song book. Do is B, no. I've not yet told you to determine. You look at the stuff that will what is the clef? This again, please. This in the subsequence. It has a lot of. It is placed today. I want to thank you. I don't know if there are other.
Yeah, I think those are the questions we are having, Elder. And thank you for your presentation for today. Yeah, those are the questions I have. Thank you for the presentation, and may God bless you. At this point, let me invite Mama Esther for her final remarks, and then we shall be coming to the close of the session. Madam Esther. Esther, we are waiting for your remarks as we come to the closing of the session.
Mr. Mo.
Yes, Elder.
I've been requesting explaining. I was explaining. I made a mistake.
Okay.
Look at the screen that the bass clef is not clef. Between the.
I'm not getting where I know that it's my network problem or that side.
Can you?
You can hear you. Okay.
Okay. Which is line, that line between the base that had talked line. Muzayo Esther.
Yeah. Hello. Madam Esther.
Please.
Yeah, your final remarks as we come to the end of today's session.
We want to thank Uganda teach our teacher your keep more stuff and to and they solve and at least what and so much just the funds in be getting days to practice and then areas where well but exercises it's very interesting. And sent a question to me that asked by one of the participants grouping ourselves. Wow, I believe you will have your phones now with Elder and we will to Google stop download a on your piano. So Elder that's in the house. Money to buy family because music. Please phone go to Sunday. No, called 21 is the association talking about. CDE. So continue. So on your phone, find a way to get down. I've just going on help you. I think I've passed. When are they starting with your phone? Sharing this WhatsApp group cannot stack. Can have. Let me the more on your.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Waisa. As we are coming to the close of today's session, I'll request Joey to pray for us.
Thank you, Elder. Let's have a child who is
Yes.
bear. Let's
Okay.
pray. Kind and in heaven, we thank you for the gift of life that's given to us. Thank you for the time you go through songs. Thank you for this arrangement. Everyone that in their resources to have us research learn lessons. We do church music while serving you so much. Give us a quick name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you, everyone, for coming for today's session. We're looking forward to meeting again on Sabbath. Thank you, Kiganda, for your presentation, and I hope we shall keep on practicing for us to become more and more conversant with the staff notation. Thank you, everyone, and may God richly bless you.